Continuing here. So people on both sides, made up sides, right, blue and red, have made these things up. And people believe these things. And that belief is very powerful. You can't just write it off. You can't just slough it off, okay? You have to take it to heart that perception is reality, and people's emotions and passions are valid. So for whatever reason, okay, they really believe this stuff. You've got to believe that, first of all, on both sides. You've got to believe that the other side really believes they're the good guys in this thing. Okay, otherwise you'll go stark raving mad because, yes, I'm cynical. I'm as cynical as they get. I doubt the motives of a lot. Obviously, that's the whole theme of this thing, is just pointing out the manipulation that's taking place from on high. And that's, that's the point, is that you've got to admit it. You've got to look up the Overton window. People have to be empowered with the knowledge of the truth. Okay, and then you have to, it's like weightlifting. You got to practice. You got to practice by going out and teaching other people, empowering others, and you keep carrying that cross. That's fighting the good fight. And who is it for? Is it a religious fight? No. It's a fight for humanity, for what's best for all of us, not some of us. You see, that's the problem. We've got this exclusive privileged class, these elitists. And the closest term to elitism in the Bible is these hypocrites. Okay, that's what they are. They're big, fat, lying, cheating, thieving, murderous hypocrites. They're monsters for all intents and purposes. They hate humanity. They're very overt. They're very unabashed. They're very much in your face about letting you know that if you're paying attention. If you look up the Georgia Guidestones, you'll understand what I'm saying. They want to get rid of the vast majority of us. Now, if that's not cause for us to come together against these a-holes, these monsters, then I don't know what is. Okay, so let's put aside this blue-red crap and just fix the problem. I mean, look, I voted for the Republican governor for California. Nobody's ever heard the guy's name, but I figured, you know what, I do not really particularly like this Gavin Newsom character. That's why I didn't vote for him. But now that he's the governor of California, I'm going to support, hey, I'm going to give the guy a chance, okay? That's my attitude. I'm not going to have an attitude about it. I'm going to say, let's see if he's for real. Let's see what he does for drying up homelessness. Okay, that's what I care about. I care about binding the wound on society where it's hemorrhaging, and that's where we're hemorrhaging. How do we call ourselves a Christian nation, a Christian state? Okay, and neglect the least of men when Jesus Christ himself said, I am the least of men. How you treat them is how you treat me. Okay, so we're not a Christian nation, and California is not a Christian state. The proof is in the pudding, man. Okay, let's fix our problems. Let's show the rest of the nation. We've been setting the trend the opposite way so long, Gavin Newsom. I mean, if I was speaking to the governor, I would say, look, brother, come on, man. Remember Rodney King? Can't we all just get along here? Remember Martin Luther King Jr.? Remember the things he said about a basic income? That would be a great way. You want to see crime plummet? If you're for real, Gavin Newsom, you're not an a-hole, you're intellectually honest, and you think of yourself as a good, decent, upright human being, then let's fix our problems. Let's set a shining light example. Wouldn't that be fantastic if we could for once be proud of California and we could make California great again? Okay, that's what I want to see. Make California great again. Okay, that doesn't have a catchy, you can't, it's good. We had two consonants in a row there, so it's pretty tough to make a catchy saying out of it, like MAGA, right? But, hey, we've been going the other way, and we've been setting a bad example for so long with the debt and all this socialist programs that aren't going to work. We got to figure that out, man. I mean, look, buy people houses, buy poor people houses. Let the government own the houses. Who cares? Who's the government anyhow? Let's be honest about who the real governing body is. The only legitimate, valid governing body in America, anywhere in America, and California certainly in America, is we the people. It's not we some of the people. Okay, very clearly, our Constitution is about we the people. So let's care about we the people. Let's care about the blues and the reds together and understand who did this to us. Who these big fat a-holes sitting on a pile of money in their ivory towers, okay, at the top of the pyramid, okay, the top, uppermost echelons, the grand puppeteers, what they've done to us. It's their fault. That's why we have problems on a local level, on state levels. That's who's done it to us. They're rendering us, they're making us in their image and likeness. Okay, and except for the power, that's what they're doing. But you see, it's too tempting for so many politicos out there. Okay, and I don't know, about these career politicians. I mean, I think the job ought to pay a stipend. In my mind, we should get rid of the political advertising. Don't allow political affiliation. We're just Americans here, so we're just voting as Americans. We're voting for this guy or that. We could have other rules, but we could get rid of this divisive crap right away and just eliminate political parties. That's probably snowball's chance in hell of that happening, because there's so many people that are bent on just my team, my side. I'm just loyal and devoted. And isn't that a good thing? Isn't that what we're taught, right? So I get it. There's probably not much chance that we're going to eliminate political parties, but let's at least eliminate the ignorance, okay, and understand where the problems are coming from. They're coming from the top, the very top. They keep debasing our currency. This is what's going on here through raising our cost of living. So it's very simple, if you're intellectually honest, to understand what needs to happen to turn this thing on its head. Okay, to change directions, to change trajectories. We've got to increase the worth of our currency. Okay, there's only one way to do that. You're not going to do it through wages. Okay, because the Labor Department, whose job it is to give cost of living adjustments if they're required, okay, which they shouldn't be in the first place. Understand, they shouldn't be. Okay, getting paid $1 an hour minimum wage in the 60s, okay, would have been way overkill by now. By now, we could be getting paid 10 cents an hour, and it'd be equivalent to getting paid $2 an hour back in the 60s if we had sound economic policies. Do you understand? That's what should have happened here. If the Labor Department wasn't deliberately remiss at giving proportional, equivalent, commensurate cost of living adjustments decade after decade. Okay, that's what they've done, and here we are. So there's no way on earth you're ever going to get wages up to match and surpass and able to make progress and create prosperity through, we're just going to, everybody's numbers, we're going to increase all their numbers so much that they're going to be able to once again be able to buy homes and support themselves comfortably, and the wife could stay home if she wanted to, take care of the family, and like how it used to be in California. Okay, I'm a native California. I remember that even when I was a kid. I mean, I remember my parents bought a house in beautiful Santa Cruz for $8,000. It was an arm's length transaction. It wasn't a short sale or foreclosure, just a regular house in suburban Santa Cruz, 2-bedroom house. I think it was. I think I might have had the porch, but my sister's got a room. My parents had a room, and I loved it. I was a kid, but hey, that's how it was. And if you were making $200 a month at what I think it was $1.50 an hour at that time, 1965, around then, you could comfortably take care of your family, pay the mortgage on your house, and take care of your family. That's the truth. So it could have gotten better from there. They murdered JFK, right? We all know, well, that happened previously, but that's when the ball started rolling. That's when we, the frogs, we the people, were plunked into the pot of water. It was a very risky moment for these evildoers, because it's, it just takes a handful of the really darkest, dirtiest a-holes out there, to do this sort of thing. I mean, this is biblical level manipulation. Remember, I mean, they're killing the head of America, the leader of the free world. That's pretty serious stuff. That's what it took. That was what they needed to catch the frogs and plunk them in the water. And then they were prepared. They already had TV, so they could, people mesmerized. Oh my gosh! Oh, wonder who done it? And that goes on long enough, and there's suspicion, and people are killed, and Jack Ruby, and RFK shortly after. I mean, it just one thing after another. Oswald, and it was Sirhan, all this BS they inject into the thing just to make it a big, who done it? Well, we'll never know, I guess. And cover it just like 9/11, the same thing, even though you got a group of over 2,000 architects and engineers for 9/11 truth. And there's no denying that there's no way it could have happened the way the official story, we're being told in the official story, okay? Yet, it just goes on. I mean, it just, even like Second World War, Pearl Harbor, Okay, they had advance notice, but they wanted the attack so they could give them pretext to use their nuclear bombs. I mean, it's that evil. You think nobody could be that evil? You're just a conspiracy theorist. I think, dude, you're lying to yourself if you think that there isn't people that do frame-ups. I mean, locally here we had a Democratic headquarters that had a brick thrown through the window, and a bunch of flyers and stuff were stolen. It was right after the election. I mean, it was like the day of. I'm thinking, well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you don't think that could be a self-inflicted wound? The media's out there reporting it. There was no police investigation. The FBI didn't investigate and say, well, this is serious. We can't have, this is, a horrible event, a crime and all that. No, so it's all just conjecture on the part of this guy running the Democratic headquarters that this is how it had to be the Republicans and our enemies, and see what they'll stoop to, see what they'll do. I mean, self-inflicted wound, perfect opportunity for a frame-up. And so 9/11 false flag operation, they want to get something started on a grand scale. So, it was Saddam Hussein, or somehow he had his finger in the pie, or we're mad and we're going to do what we want now, and we don't care that he doesn't have any weapons of mass destruction. We're just going to, we're going to show the world what a mad bull does when you upset it, when these are the same people that knew something about 9/11, you understand? And then there's all these profits to be made on Wall Street, and George Bush, how he just tells people, just keep investing. This is what the terrorists that did this to us hate is, your capitalism. So just go out there and be a good capitalist, invest hand over fist, and, green lighted the crap out of it, go Wild West. And this is right after Slick Willie had gotten rid of the Glass-Steagall Act. So the bankster class were totally let off the leash to do what they wanted, rape, pillage, and plunder the public, just by dumping, enormous sums of money on the market. Nobody cares about appraisals anymore, about any reality-based, valuation of a property, real estate. It was just, hey, whatever the market will bear. We're getting bids over here. So, the bankers are involved. They're bidding against each other, and what's going on. That's what the investors do, and they all are penciling it in. All the investors, what can I get for rent? And is it going to pay my mortgage? Can I raise it? So they work together. They collude to gang up on you. You understand? Could you imagine a game of Monopoly where everybody was playing, but you had these collusive groups that were doing anything they had to win the game, cheating? They didn't give a crap what it took, manipulating the rules, changing the rules in the middle of the game. That's what it's like for people that are outside this thing, that see it, like myself. And I think, I have no desire to play this game. I've jumped off the ship. I'm on a plank. I'm out of here, man. If the sharks get me, I'll take my chances. But I know you guys are going down in the vortex, in the whirlpool, to a watery grave. That's what's happening to all you people. So I don't envy you at all, man. I don't care if you own the frickin' world, man. I wouldn't trade my soul, my integrity for 1 ounce of what you got. I don't want it, but yet these people think they got it going on, man. These people that are manipulating us. The establishmentarians, all this conduit in between the helm and the rudder that's steering this ship of fools to destruction. I mean, do you see what's going on here? We're in a lot of trouble. And like I say, over and over again, we need God's help. Without God's help, we're done. We're cooked, man. We're hopeless. So put your hope in the Lord and say, God, please help us. Please, I beg you, do something, man. Do something. But we've got to, we need to be knocked over the head, but be as gentle as you can with it. But still, we need to be woken up out of our stupor. We've got to jump out of this pot, man. It's at a rapid boil now. We're nearly dead, cooked, gone. This path to death and destruction is nearly complete. We know these monsters want us dead. God, bring us together in the name of justice and truth and righteousness and fairness to be the rule of the day in our land. Please, God, help us. This is what we need to do. Very earnestly, we need to talk to God and just say, God, help us. I mean, I don't know what else. It's the best advice I could give anybody. It's going to be God. If we see changes, if we see anything getting better, really improving in terms of healing the division in our land and binding the wound on humanity logically where it's hemorrhaging and really becoming a Christian nation, I don't know what the hell else to say to anybody. But you've got to get it. You've got to understand the difference between progress and regress when it comes to economic matters. And I'm telling you how it happened. How the flame got turned up under different times in history here and what happened here. It's like Slick Willie turned the gas on Back when he allowed the Glass-Steagall Act to expire, and it was just on pilot at that point. But then when George Bush gave the green light, and then you let the dog off the leash, and they felt safe. They felt, well, this insurance, and we're going to be covered. Our masters have assured me that everything's going to be okay, and we're going to be covered. So, you know. So just go for it, man. Told his fellow banksters, and they colluded and ganged up against us, dumped all this money on the market, dramatically decreasing the worth of our currency, hence the term currency debasement, by increasing your burden, which is your cost of living tax, right? It's a burden.